199 episodes, Tango. This is 199, which is insane. We've been at this just over, this will be 8 years. April 4th was 8 years since the first episode of Burnham podcast launch, which is actually episode 2. But that's a different story for a different time. How you doing, Beau?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me back. This is session 2.0.
Yeah,
episode 199. So
episode 199.
happy.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's I'm interested to learn how things have been for you and what you've learned. But I mean, what have you been up to in the meantime? How's the fam?
Yeah, man. Fam is good. Son's playing baseball. I'm assistant, helping out with the coaching.
Okay.
When I can, when I have time away from the campaign trail, I'll go help with the coaching. And my daughter's birthday's coming up in May, so she'll be 4. Family's good. We just got back from the quick trip to the beach down to Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Okay.
And so family's doing really well, and really they've been a part of kind of brought into this campaign. It's been a family affair, so
has to be right.
Good, man. Yeah.
Everybody's got to be bought in.
It's been great, man. Everybody's bought in. Family's bought in. Obviously people are bought in to the everyday American movement. And that's what we're focused on right now.
Yeah.
That's how it's going. So,
man, I can't imagine. I mean, you've got a full-time job and your dad and husband and all that stuff, and you're running for office, and sure, I'll sign up and help coach my son's baseball team with all your other free time, right? Like, holy smokes, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's a grassroots campaign. So, we have a team, and we have designated things that we go to. For this next campaign, we're definitely going to be doing more meet and greets, like hour and a half here and there at business locations, all up and down Georgia 14. So hoping to get into more. First time I focused on Rome, because I was playing to my strengths. This time I'm going to be out in more of the community. We have signs in every district, of course, from the special election, but I'll be definitely in person, hopefully getting to meet the constituents, because I think when people meet me and they get to know me, they're going to vote for me. Yeah.
Well, we saw a sign, were we in Villanelle, maybe in Dalton the other day? Vote for Beau.
Oh, nice.
I can get behind that. So they're all over. But yeah, somebody was telling me, I don't know, was it yesterday, day before? I was telling my mom having Beau back on. Mom loves Beau Brown. But
yes, your mom's a huge.
She's fired up, man.
Support on Facebook.
But she's like, Beau is everywhere, and he's talking to everybody. And I was like, that's how he's running his campaign. He's not spending $1 bajillion on everything the way they usually do it.
We've been raising money. I want to shed some light on that.
Yeah, sure.
My campaign was based on running as the founders had intended it.
Yeah.
And so when I mean that, the founding fathers, wrote specifically the Constitution and the way for people to get involved in politics and to represent their community. The best way to do that and the easiest way to do that is to get into the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
The Senate is like a step. Oh, sorry. The Senate is like a step up. But the House was designed that it didn't matter what background you came from. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Yeah. Doesn't matter, what social status you have. It's designed for people that are engaged, that want to take that sacrifice and have that courage to step out to make a difference. That's the way to do it. And that's why I say I'm running as the founders intended it, because I'm just a regular everyday American. I have a full-time job. I have a successful career in risk management, and I'm a property risk engineer over the Southeast. And so successful in my own right, but wanted to jump into this because I believe in this campaign. I believe that people, once they hear this message of everyday American, why don't we send someone to Washington that's like us?
Yeah.
Instead of sending another lawyer, another bought and paid for candidate, another political expedient person, how about we give the regular everyday American a shot to go to Washington to fight for us, to serve with true accountability, with just honesty and integrity that can't be bought or paid for.
Yeah.
It's true to who I am. It's true to what I have done living in Georgia 14, growing up in Rome, being a part of the public school system here, going to University of Georgia, self-financing my college experience, mostly with Hope Scholarship, but obviously I worked at Chick-fil-A while I was there. I'm just an everyday American. I've worked paycheck to paycheck my entire life. I'm just like you. I'm just like most Americans in this district who have dealt with the goalpost moving.
Oh, man.
Every so often the goalpost moves, and whether you go to school to try to get a better education, to get a better designation, to get a better job, the pay's just never enough given what's happening in Washington.
Right.
The spending is out of control. We're at $39 trillion in debt. And I think, Trump just asked for another $1.4 trillion, basically around budgeting the military.
Right.
We just need an everyday American to go there. I have the experience. I have the professional success in my own right, and I know how to talk to people. I know how to meet with people. I know how to negotiate. And that's why I got into this, man.
You're doing a ton of that. The getting out and meeting and shaking hands and kissing babies is what they always say about politicians.
Yeah.
But you're doing a ton of that. But you make a lot of great points about money and the money that we're spending and the money that we're wasting. But you haven't wasted any money campaigning, it seems.
Yeah, if you donate to BeauBrownForCongress.com, the money will go to. It will not be wasted. I've been saying since the beginning, I have accomplished more with less, and I think that's what we need out of our leaders.
Yeah.
We need someone that's going to go to Washington to accomplish more without asking for more, but go and accomplish more with less, in a sense, meaning be diligent and be a fiduciary and be someone that's going to work their tail off. And actually, when you cast your vote, you're getting equity when you cast your vote for Beau Brown.
Yeah.
You're getting equity. For the first time, it matters when you go cast your vote for an elected official, because whatever I get, I stretch it.
Yeah.
I mean, mainly it's been going to pay for signs and stuff like that. But this campaign in the special election, we were able to accomplish the highest. We'll say the most vote per dollar was the lowest out of my campaign. And so when you have people spending six figures, $500,000 or more than $500,000 on a campaign, their cost per vote is in the hundreds of dollars. My cost per vote was less than $10. It was like around $6 a vote. And so what that means is that, one, not enough people knew me. I think there was, with 20 people running.
Yeah.
And as far as I could take it with social media, not enough people knew who Beau Brown was, knew what I stood for.
Yeah.
And especially when they had these GOP meetings, we didn't get a chance to talk politics. It was more legacy speeches, more platitudes from everybody. And I was hoping to stand out because of talking on the real issues.
Right.
And that's what separates me right now from the people you're going to hear on stage. They're all about platitudes. I'm all about providing real answers to problems and doing what needs to happen to solve them.
Well, can we get into specifics on money? I mean, we were talking some off air, and I guess some of this is public record anyway in terms of campaign funding and stuff. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that there were people that spent six figures on their campaign. There was somebody that spent, what did we say, $900,000? What was the
FEC? So it's all public knowledge. You can go to the Federal Election Commission, FEC.org, and you can look up any campaign and see how much they filed, which would be how much is in their campaign. And I think there's a way to see how much they've actually spent too, because it does debits and credits.
Yeah.
And so, we've had, there's been people in the special election that way more well-financed than me, obviously. And some of that is from self-financing. These are really successful people. They're able to, loan themselves money. But I definitely did not have the kind of money some of these people had. Well,
it was crazy to me when he's been reelected since, but when Dave Robertson was running for sheriff here locally, and all those numbers get released, is how much they've taken in donations, how much they spent in their cash on hand. And it was amazing to me how many people in the local sheriff's race were $20,000 and $30,000 in debt in their campaign. I looked at Dave. Dave was the only one that was not in any debt at all. And of course, Dave had a ton of donations and things and like whatever. But it's crazy to me that so many politicians can garner so many donations and so, just this war chest, they call it, and then still be in debt at the end of their campaign. I think Kamala Harris was in debt at the end of her campaign.
Oh yeah,
for she runs for president, and she's got $1 billion, and somehow that wasn't enough. Not only was it not enough to get elected, but it wasn't even enough to cover the cost of the campaign. Like, what are we doing? But you're not having to fly around the country either. You're driving from from Paulding County to Dade County, I guess. And
and with my campaign specifically, everything's balanced. There's no debt. But we haven't had the opportunity to get into debt. I mean, we don't pay for any of the major advertisements, which I mean that helps. The radios, the TV, TV commercials. Obviously, I want to get to that point because I think it's helpful to get elected. But since we're talking about it, please donate. If you are an everyday American, if you're someone that wants to send someone to Washington that's going to, carry your voice and not be beholden to anyone else in politics or any other kingmakers or any other foreign interest, please donate to me. Donate to Beau Brown for Congress.com. $20, $50, $100. Whatever you can donate will go a long way in helping this campaign for the May 19th Republican primary.
May 19th. As we're recording this, it's April 12th.
Yeah, it's coming fast. I mean, it's
coming
weird.
Quick.
And campaign, and before, like I would, before in a regular everyday life, I wouldn't even think about May's like way down the line.
Right.
No, but when I'm campaigning, every day matters.
Yeah.
Every day is another. It just matters so much. It's opportunity, and I have to take make the most of it. And then some days you take off, you're like, I just ain't got I ain't got it in me. I'm not doing this full time.
I can't. Imagine after you've worked all day and now you got to go campaign and shake hands and drive a couple hours to a different county or whatever. Okay, you need a day off every now and then because you guys are. I mean, should you win this primary, you're going to end up campaigning from December to November.
Yeah, well, I know if you win the primary, you'd be campaigning from May to November.
Yeah, but you've been campaigning since December, right?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean,
Beau's really tired. He's working hard right now. But it's. You'll have almost a year in this by the November. That's insane.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that'll be fine with me because if I win in May, yes, I mean, that's what I want.
Right.
I mean, I got into this for self-service, not self-service. I'm a selfless person. Self-service. I got in this to serve you, to serve the American people, and I want to do this full time. That's why I didn't go after any local elections or state elections because those are part-time things. I really want to work full time for the American people. I want to be fully focused on the agenda, on the issues at hand, to really serve the people. And I think that's why I've been in this. That's why I went for U.S. Congress.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's the big opportunity to really give back. And I've always prayed for an opportunity to be in a position to give back to people. And I think the leverage that comes with this seat is what I want to use to get things done in Georgia 14.
Yeah. So you were here 4 months ago. What do you know now that you didn't know then?
Yeah, man, 4 months ago, like I said, the first time we came into this podcast, I wasn't really official yet. I hadn't qualified.
Right, yeah.
I just talked about it. And obviously I followed through with that talk. I went and qualified for the special election, and we qualified really the last second. We qualified the last second for the May Republican primary. And, I'm a different candidate than I was. I think you can tell.
You're speaking better now.
Speaking way better.
And I've heard you do other speeches and things too.
Yeah. Different candidate. Obviously, drinking through a fire hose, learning the topics, learning the issues, and really, you become a public figure in a sense. Like people started noticing me, this, which I enjoy because I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy meeting people. What I've learned is that, coming from nothing, it's a hard road to hoe. I mean, I wasn't in politics prior to this. But what I will say is that the learning curve's not that hard. I mean, when you're talking about these politicians who are talking, they make their living talking platitudes. When they actually come face to face with someone that cares about the issues, that cares about right and wrong, that cares about my mom, my dad, my brethren, my neighbor, my family, for one, and I'm not in it for the, the promotions. I'm not in it
Right.
for the fame. It becomes very apparent that platitudes don't go that far.
Yeah.
And I'm able to compete with these people that don't really have anything to say besides platitudes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I will say that, like, the one thing I noticed is that if you're passionate about politics, if you're passionate about serving others, then there's definitely an avenue for you to get into politics and really rise to the top.
Yeah.
I've been saying that since day one.
Well, I'm about platituded out.
Me too.
I'm so sick of, and it's one politician after another that get up and say essentially the same thing. Like, so many Republicans are going to say the same thing that Democrats are saying, and I'm here for you, and I'm your guy, and you look into these people, and they're not here for you, and they're not your guy. They come from a different, they're not having to work a full-time job while they also run for office, and they're just not up against the things that the average American is up against. And it's refreshing to have somebody that I know who you are. Like, you live down the road, and I know that you go to work every day just like I do. And I know that you take care of your kids and you're playing ball and you're doing all the family stuff, and that you're not just sitting at home on a big pile of campaign money, but you're not buying your fourth house and like some of these other people are. It's refreshing to see that.
Yeah, no, I've, like I said, born and raised in Rome. I live in Silver Creek right now. I was the only candidate that lived in Floyd County that was on the special election ballot. I am the Rome candidate, and I say that because I have passion about where I live and where I'm from, and I hope that means to be something to people that are Republicans in this city, in this town, in this county, that want representation that's local. You want to vote for somebody that's from the area. I can't say that about the person we just elected. He was almost from Tennessee. He lives on Lookout Mountain.
Right, he's on the far end.
And so, Rome, you have an opportunity to send someone to Washington that's from this town.
Yeah.
And I will, once elected, definitely there will be a congressional office in Rome, Georgia, 100%. And if it has to be my house, so there'll be an office.
Yeah.
And I know there's a budget.
We got a space over here in the corner.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think once more Romans hear my message, then we'll get more momentum, more support.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I've learned is that you can't come into this expecting, what do they say? You never win your first one or whatever.
Right,
A lot don't win the first one. It's one of the, you keep going at it. You keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And as long as the passion's there, and it is, I want to serve people. I want to serve this country. I feel like it's an honor of a lifetime to serve Georgia 14, serve America, and really protect our American values, our principles, and our liberties that are under attack right now.
So we'll get into some hard stuff. We were talking again off air about what the Trump endorsement means these days, because you're not the Trump endorsed candidate, and the Trump endorsed candidate just won the jungle primary. What do we even call it? The special election, I guess, is what we just had.
Yeah, we had the jungle primary, and then it went to a runoff between him and the Democrat, and he won the runoff. So he is warming the seat up for whoever's going to win. And
there you go. So but he's the Trump endorsed guy,
right?
And at this point, there are a lot of people who are not like the Trump. And the last episode will have aired before this comes out, and you guys who are watching and listening, go back and listen to it. You'll know exactly how I feel about Trump at this point. His endorsement doesn't mean much to me at this point. How do you think that's gonna to favor you in terms of running against the Trump endorsed candidate?
Yeah, I think if you're a person that's living in Georgia 14 and you are looking at the landscape and saying, wow, MAGA doesn't really feel like MAGA anymore. It feels like the ball's been dropped by our president.
Yeah.
And well, we just elected this one guy who all he talks about is Donald Trump. How about we look at the other highly qualified candidates and the ones that are really focused on Georgia 14, focused on going to Washington to fight for everyday Americans. It doesn't, the Trump endorsement obviously played in for the low information voter, they see Trump endorsed, they go in there and they hit the button. But I'm hoping that we have time. I'm hoping, especially with what's going on right now in Iran, that people pay attention and actually do some research on the candidates and really give everyone an opportunity to really earn your vote, because there's better, there are options on there that are just like you, that are working hard to make a difference, that want to see a better future for their family, a better future for their kids, and hell, just an economy where they can start a family.
Yeah.
Right now, the economy is just, anyone that's a millennial or, Gen Z can't start a family. They can't buy a home.
Yeah.
They can't, who cares about what's happening in Iran? We can't even start a family over here. I think that's what the thing is. I'm all about family. Like I said, I'm married. I have two children, and I'm all about family being a part of the American dream. Obviously, home ownership, I believe, is a part of the American dream. We have to get to a point where the housing market's better for Americans, especially with the interest rates are still hovering around 7%. Right now, I know a lot of realtors and a lot of people in the real estate industry are struggling right now because sellers can't sell and buyers can't buy.
Yeah.
There's kind of gridlock right now, and I think, we have to do more for home ownership in this country. Stop these, $1 trillion, these hedge funds, these companies, Airbnb, from buying up these single family homes. There has to be a complete ban on that. I think they did something. There was an executive order, but it only covered 200. You could still buy up to like 300 homes as an investor. Like, what is,
Well, what good is the ban?
It should have been completely banned. I mean, we can't have Wall Street, buying up single family dwellings that Americans deserve to buy. Yeah. And so I'm 100% I'm against all that, and I will definitely work to ban corporate interest in single family homes in America.
So, well, I'm not 100% up to speed on that, but what we're getting is these giant corporations are just buying up all the houses and then jacking the prices up.
Yeah, what happened during COVID? I mean, you even had companies like Open Door. They would buy the house and then market it like, be the show. They would show the house too.
Yeah.
So they would own it and show it. And if they didn't sell it in a certain time for a certain profit, they'd turn around and lease it. Yeah. And then lease it for an incredible amount of money. The rent in this country, we're becoming a nation of renters, and that is not the American dream. The American dream is to, grow up, go to, whether go to trade school or go to, if you want to go to college, get in a pathway that you want to, something you love doing, that pays a living wage.
Yeah.
Meet the love of your life, get married, have kids, buy a family, have a plot of land that you can call your own. That's your kingdom. That's your fortress. That's your palace. And then, grow old, raise kids, and live a fruitful life. And that's been my entire message, is that I'm the guy that wants you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. I can't say it enough. I want you to take home more of your hard-earned money. I don't want it going to Washington to be spent on a study about mice being transgender. I want your money to be spent on things that benefit you. So if it is tax money, I want it to go to infrastructure spending that is going to uplift your community that you're in. Underground power would be great. Rome doesn't even have underground power.
Yeah,
there's still power lines probably from the 50s hanging up. So when you drive to these closer urban areas, everything's underground power. It's clean. It's nice. There isn't lines hanging over your head. That'd be a wonderful thing to invest in Georgia 14. Since we are a rural area, I know a lot of the rural areas probably can't get much of that infrastructure. But the cities like Dalton, Rome, Rockmart, Cedartown, these kind of bigger, Somerville, these bigger areas would be a great opportunity to provide underground power as an infrastructure spending or funding from the federal government. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't understand why we don't have underground utilities, and there's,
we probably could have budgeted. We probably could have spent money on it, 3 or 4 or 5 times over.
Yeah.
If we weren't spending money overseas, funding foreign wars, funding foreign interests, funding foreign aid that goes to these NGOs who basically wash the money and stick it in their back pocket. So I am all for accountability and making sure that every dollar we take in at the federal government is accounted for. I know we did that with Doge and it was short-lived, but I think we still need to move towards that with our representation in Congress, that we're more about watching this money and making sure that it goes to the right things. And really, tax breaks. We got to provide, continue to provide tax breaks. I think they just passed in the House a child tax, an additional child tax credit up to $2,200 per child.
Okay.
That's, I think, above line, so you're going to get it above the standard deduction,
Right.
which is great for families. Is it enough? I don't know, but it's a start. I think the biggest thing that we need to focus on is whoever we elect, we have to get away from this political arena talk between the right and the left. We need people to go up there and just be accountable to their district, to work for their district needs, and for obviously, agenda stuff that's in line with the Republican agenda or, conservatism.
Right.
This back and forth, this arena of characters.
Yeah.
This arena of characters that doesn't get anything done, doesn't move the needle for the American people. All it does is add headlines, add talking points. And that's one of the things I said. If you elect me, I'm never going to give you talking points from the White House. I'm going to give you boots on the ground, tangible, hardworking, tangible accomplishments.
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about platitudes coming out of my mouth.
Well, that's what, I said I was platituded out, and then I'm watching our jungle primary that we just had where there were 23 candidates total and 20 of them were Republicans. And I get whatever it was. I don't know the number offhand, but
So you're close.
So you get the Democrats and the Republicans, and they got the attack ads and things like that. And I can't stand those anyway, but I almost get it between the two opposing sides. But what I really didn't like, and there were guys that I just would not, even if I hadn't known a candidate firsthand, there are people that I wouldn't have voted for because they're running attack ads against people in their own party. Well, if I'm for one of you guys in a primary and you're running these attack ads against each other, well, I don't want to vote for the other guy once my candidate has lost. Well, all the bad things he said about my guy, I don't want to support him now. But what you're doing, what you're sitting here doing, and every conversation you and I have had has been about Beau Brown. It hasn't been about this other guy and what a scumbag he is and how this other guy got away with this one thing or another. And I appreciate that about you, that you don't get from so many other politicians that just want to go, well, that guy's trash. Well, maybe he is trash, but how are you different? What sets you apart? Why are you not trash? I didn't need you to tell me this other guy was trash. I can read, but why don't more politicians, more candidates just go, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And this is what a good job. These are my ideas, as opposed to running everybody else down.
Yeah. Obviously, I think that comes with new generational leadership change in Washington and new generational leadership influence in the GOP.
Yeah.
Getting involved, changing how things have been done always. Providing, this should be an opportunity to work for the American people. Go and defend the Constitution, defend American liberties, and really run. You're a public servant. You're an advocate, and that is what I've always said. I'm going to be an advocate for the hardships that are facing this district. I have many conversations on the campaign trail. A woman met me, and she said, my son was incarcerated for just a domestic. It was a very minor charge.
Yeah,
he was incarcerated, and within the few weeks he was in jail or prison, he was stabbed and killed. And so this mother of her son, she brought this issue to me, and I looked into it and realized the Georgia penitentiary is one of the lowest. It grades out of it's very bad on the life for these inmates and just the things that's going on. I think that happens with the failures of funding people. That could be a great job, but they're not
Yeah.
paying these people enough. You can be a ward officer or whatever, but you don't make enough to really.
Yeah, you're making like
stick-
$16 an
You
hour
don't
in
make
there.
enough to stick around for the harassment and what
Yeah.
So there needs to be better paying jobs that in communities in Georgia 14.
Yeah.
Those are great jobs for people to get into law enforcement, to get into actual behavioral stuff to help rehabilitate these people. But it was so unfortunate. This woman hugged me, and I could just feel the pain in her heart, and that was one of the moments that really took me back and really affected why made me think about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not, I didn't win the special election. I had there was many other moments like this where they're real lives.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the only time they get to talk to a representative or somebody running for Congress.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
I said, I'll look into this, I'll make sure that I get involved. And whether that's making, we can't do anything about obviously what had happened and the loss of her son, but we can protect the next. Maybe we can do something to affect change. Whether it's just me going to visit a prison system and learning it, as a congressman and learning everything about it, or going to visit the worst prison system in Georgia 14 and meeting the leadership and what's going on, to learn the pain points, to really take that back to Washington and use my seat for good. And that's what I've been talking about. I want to use this seat for good. I don't want to go there. I'm not going there to play defense for the Republican Party on all of the mudslinging from the left. I'm going there to be a mouthpiece for issues in Georgia 14 and to really push the needle to make sure things get done here. That's going to uplift this community, uplift your family, provide better jobs, provide better pay, and to bring the American dream back and to protect that dream, because right now it's being eroded in multiple ways, in more ways than one.
Yeah. What are some things that are on your list? I mean, everybody's got their, I don't want to call them a pet project, but what's some stuff that you have in mind specifically?
The more that I look into this data center situation across the nation, I'm really against it. I want to really ban any construction in Georgia 14 when it comes to data centers. At least put a ban on it, a temporary moratorium, until we learn more about what these investors are trying to accomplish, what they're trying to do to really come in, use our community resources like water and energy, and the strain that it's going to have on those things, the cost that it's going to be, handed down to the regular everyday consumer. There needs to be a complete ban on it in Georgia 14, and I'm for that right now. I don't care about Trump's he wants it as a national security thing.
Yeah.
I saw a statistic, as a country, we have over 2,500 data centers already, and that's like 10 times more than the next country even come close to having. So Georgia's obviously one of the major states that they're pushing this right now, and I know that's good for temporary economic boost that you get from the construction.
Is it? I mean, from that.
From the temporarily you get the upfront temporary boost to your economy, but long term you have this energy sucking, environmental damaging, heat sinking unit that's just dissipating heat, and obviously millions of gallons of water are being evaporated into the atmosphere through this supposedly closed loop system. But we all know that there's cooling towers involved. There's these things that it's getting back into the atmosphere. And so if we already have forever chemicals, it's getting even more pushed into the atmosphere.
Right.
So there needs to be a complete ban currently. And that's what I'm going to do when I get there. I'm going to work with whoever in Washington to make sure we do a nationwide moratorium on these things, to make sure that we don't just overbuild and because that's what's going to happen. We're going to overbuild with all this investment coming in. They're going to overbuild, and then we're going to have these, all the land gone, all the trees gone, and the beautiful landscape in the countryside in Northwest Georgia, and just a building sitting there, either unused or unhoused, and then it's going to have like 10 employees. So,
well, they were talking about one close to where we are, right? And I'm, we're sitting here, and everything we're doing right now runs on electricity. Yeah. Everything's plugged in, and I'm thinking, if they're sucking up all the juice down the road, like, And not just that we're podcasting here, but people live close by too, and they're brownouts and blackouts like they have out in California because there's just not enough juice to go around.
Right now, we need more housing. We need more housing supply, not less. So we're going to give this land to these data centers. Also, a data center, just on the small end, uses the equivalent of 50,000 homes in energy power. So you're talking about 50,000 homes that could be built. We're giving it to a data center that's going to employ maybe 10 people. And then also it's for these, these data centers are funded by these $1 trillion companies that they come in with a sales pitch and they act like it's a scientific, they show you like a scientific study that they paid for, but it's really a sales pitch. And so we got to be more diligent, and I'm definitely the fighter for you guys when it comes to these data centers. I don't want them here. I don't want them in Northwest Georgia. I don't want them. I don't want to be driving down any country highway and then come across this massive just lighthouse of energy sucking building.
Oh man, yeah.
And so when you think about the 50,000 homes, it also they're using between 1 and 3 million gallons of water a day. That's a huge stress on the Coosa River Basin that we don't need.
Man, and even if it is a truly closed loop system, that's 1.3 how many million gallons that is just gone out of our. And it'd be the same thing. I don't know what you call a brownout or a blackout in water, but that'd be the same scenario.
There's these other systems that's more environmentally friendly where everything's completely submerged in some kind of synthetic fluid that removes the heat.
Okay.
They're way more costly, and I'm sure they're way more costly to maintain.
I'm sure, yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like we might have to get to a point where, hey, if you're going to build this is what it's got to be,
right,
to protect our environment, to protect our local communities. But either way, I think I can't do it all, and I'm not elected yet, so make sure you're showing up to these meetings in your county. Make sure you're holding your elected officials accountable, especially at the commission level, either city or county commissions. Make sure there's no strings being pulled. Keep these people accountable. Stay on them. Stay vocal. And I promise you I'll stay vocal on my end.
Is this a common thing that you're hearing as you talk to people in Northwest Georgia?
100%.
Yeah.
And not only that, just you can get on any social media. You see people that are already dealing with the data centers. I was watching some lady drive. She was driving through her county area. I don't know where it was. I think may have been Florida. She was driving. It's all these nice, beautiful laid out homes. And then next thing you know, it's this like dystopian data center just sitting there. So I think let's put the brakes on this.
Yeah.
And until we learn more and really choose the areas that we know, hey, they're not good for cattle, they're not good for corn, we're not going to commercially develop this. We'll run a substation out miles away from everybody, so we can have the data center here. There's better places. It may not be benefiting that guy that wants to sell his land and make a quick, nice payday.
Right.
That's friends with the local commissioner.
Yeah.
But let's make sure we stay vocal on it and keep these people accountable.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not for a ton of regulations on businesses. I think if you run a business, do your thing, as long as you're not breaking any laws. But
I'm not for that on mom and pop.
Right. Yeah.
But when it comes to $1 trillion companies.
Yeah.
That are notorious for using and abusing communities and people.
Yeah.
We have to.
Well, and we don't know. These things haven't been around long enough. We don't know what the real impact is.
Well,
and a
lot of people aren't talking about this as well. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
When you talk about data centers, what comes with that? Okay, it's data. It's data, and that is coming into our lives as authoritarian surveillance, essentially. So we're heading down the path where we're going to have a surveillance state, and these data centers are going to help propagate that.
Yeah.
And so I love what James Fishback is promoting in the state of Florida. He's running for governor.
Yeah.
James was talking about, not allowing Palantir and these flock camera systems to really propagate. And we need to do that in Georgia 14 as well, in the state of Georgia, because all these camera systems do is basically unwarrantedly, they violate the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
They're scanning every tag. They're tracking you where you go throughout the state. it's becoming a surveillance state, and we don't even realize it. And so these data centers are going to basically promote that as well. So I'm against that. I'm against the surveillance state. I'm against what happened in 2001 when we signed the Patriot Act. And basically we're allowed to surveil every human in America. And that came out in the documents released from Eric Snowden, that the CIA can find everything about you. And so we have to really rein in this technology that's being promoted, that's eventually going to be used against us. And obviously people want to give their data away. They want to get on TikTok and share their lives and do all that. More power to you. But, you know, there's going to be consequences 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road that we don't know yet.
Right.
And we gotta protect ourselves and put up a boundary right now.
Well, that was, like I said, that was kind of my thing, was that we don't really know what the impact is going to be. And there are people that are like, no, it's going to be the best thing ever. We got to have them right now. Well, maybe not. Maybe we should see how it works out for somebody else before we bring it in. Cause they're, you know, just down the road from here, I don't know how many, a couple 100 acres or something they're looking to plow up and put down a data center. And I guess we avoided one already, because there was going to be one out in Coosa somewhere, like Microsoft was going to come in and build this big data center, and people were like, oh, that's great.
Right.
We're going to get all these jobs. And they were like, yeah, there's going to be like 4 people that work there.
Yeah.
Like, well, holy smokes, man.
I kind of draw the comparison to these solar farms we see now. You know, and they're just these big metal, you know, hell attractions.
Yeah.
I know these are going to be buildings, but I'm just saying, like, you drive by the solar farm and you see it out there, and you're like, okay, how much utility is really being got from that?
Right.
And so these data centers are just going to be a strain on, like I said, a strain on the utility system, a strain on our utility infrastructure, a strain on our water, and it does the benefit outweigh the temporary, you know, boost in economy.
Right.
I don't think that's shown to be true so far, and especially with where everything's heading, we need to really pay attention.
So what are some other things? You're out and about and you're talking to people and you're meeting rich people and poor people and black people and white people. And what are some of the other common concerns that the Northwest Georgian has?
There's many, man. I think just
really put you on the spot there.
Yeah, I think just in politics, people want they want to return back to more of a dialogue that's a dialogue and not this mudslinging. They really want their representatives to act with some dignity. They want their representatives to act with respect to the position. And I know, you know, saying things and being outlandish gets you clicks and gets you attention. But I think we're getting to a point now where we're seeing the fracturing of what the last 10 or 12, 15 years of this right and left extremism is really getting to just the average everyday American. The factions love it because they're factions. They're very small.
Right.
They're very small components and very small percentage of the overall majority. But I think across the nation, you know, everyone's more towards getting along, towards finding compromise and finding things that we can actually get along. And I will give you an example. It's the SAVE Act. All the polling around the SAVE Act, 80% of Americans want it, whether you're Democrat or Republican. People want you to have ID to vote because we want to protect our federal elections. We want to protect. In the state of Georgia, we already have to have ID to vote, which is great. But nationwide, we need
everybody
a nationwide law that you have to be a eligible citizen, an eligible person to vote and to protect the integrity of our elections. And I think that's something that, you know, is it's not a bipartisan thing. It is bipartisan. It's not a partisan.
Well, it's not.
We're all getting along. We're all understanding
there you go.
like the safety of it and what we need.
Yeah.
And so now the issues. I mean, I've talked to veterans. Veterans want real representation. They want someone that's going to stand up for veterans. I feel like every politician that's a Republican will say, I stand up for veterans, but they have, like I said, they speak the platitudes. They don't give answers, or they're not willing to even go seek it out. You know, I've already visited the local Rome VA center. I wanted to learn their pain points. I wanted to learn more about community care. I think that's the biggest issue right now with veterans is that it takes forever for a doctor who's licensed by the state of Georgia to be verified to provide services for community care.
Yeah.
We need more doctors in community care.
Yeah.
We need more access for these people so they don't have to drive countless miles. They can drive down the road to a local pediatrician, or, a pediatrician, a local physician, or a local whoever. And so I want to expand community care for them. I want to be on top of that and work with Doug Collins and make sure that happens once elected. But another one is so community care for veterans, and just overall, when it comes to disability benefits, we have to protect those disability benefits. There shouldn't be any arguing back and forth between the right or left about funding disability, funding our VAs, our veterans for these disability things. And I think we need to get away from using the term disability and start talking about compensation and pensions for these people who are injured. And that would change the dialogue to it not being about, any negativity towards what disability. Oh, they're just scamming the system. No, we need these people fought and bled for this country.
Yeah.
And we need to provide their compensation and pension packages as it is. And so I know I've heard that from multiple veterans, is that you don't want to deal with that backlash. I think they've earned it. They fought. They've served, and whatever determination from their injuries and what they need to live and to have a successful life for the rest of their life, we need to fund that. And so I'll stand up for veterans 100%. I will not back down on those things. I think with veterans, there's a few more, but like I said, I'm involved, and I'm on top of the issues.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing also with veterans, we need. I said this at an event and got a round of applause. This is after the special election.
Yeah.
So this is a guy going up campaigning, essentially, who just lost.
Right.
But I end up getting a round of applause from the crowd because a veteran asked a question and nobody really gave an answer that was there speaking, again, talking platitudes. Yeah. And I got up there and I said, we need to make being a doctor, a nurse practitioner, working at the VA the best job in America, to make sure they serve, that we can attract and recruit highly qualified people out of the medical industry, out of the medical schools to serve these men and women.
Yeah. Well, man, I've had veterans of every branch on this show, and I talked to those guys, and I've talked to, a bunch of other veterans. Everybody knows some veterans now. We were at war in Afghanistan forever, so everybody knows a veteran. But just, the struggle those guys go through trying to get taken care of after they lost a leg or suffered, some brain injury or something. And this is Danny Burnham talking. This is not Beau Brown. But we're doing something to those people. Like, our veteran suicide rate is insane, and there's no difference between...
I think it's 22 a day.
22 a day, but there's no difference. I could see, all those guys were in combat, and they had PTSD, and they never recovered. God bless them. But it's not even... It's the same among people who were never deployed. So something's going on in the military that's causing this damage to these guys, and we got to take care of them any way we can to, help them get over whatever it is, or at least get over is not the best way to say it.
Veterans, they're a big part of Georgia 14. There's over 45,000
we got
plus
a ton
veterans
of them
that live in Georgia 14. And I'm telling you right now, I am the guy that's going to fight for you when it comes to veteran benefits, veteran advocacy. And also a big piece of this is to provide education. Yeah, we got to do a better job of educating veterans on where they can go. Now, the younger generation, people my age and younger, I think they're more up on education. But the people that are older, those are the ones we need to really go the extra mile. Go the extra mile for these people to make sure they know and they understand, because we've dealt with it, close to home too. So,
well, I had Daniel Reyes on. I guess it's been last December now. And he's in the Navy. He's out in Washington, and that's one of his things. He's I forget what his title was exactly, but he provides resources for guys who are struggling. He's the guy they can go to and say, "Hey, I'm having these kind of thoughts," or this is going on. What can I do? And it's Daniel's part of his job is to point those guys in the right direction and give them the right numbers to call and the addresses to go to and stuff like that. So, as far as the younger guys go, some of that's happening. But I was talking to a Vietnam vet back in October, and he had to go to a place and sit down across the desk from a guy, and the dude says, "Show me on the map where you served, and then we can talk about your benefit." This happened. This guy, I'm gonna knock this water bottle over. Point knocks on the wall, and the guy's like, "Well," he was getting ready to tear the room apart, and thank God he didn't. But that's what he was up against.
Yeah.
He walks in there with all his paperwork. He served. He was in for. They made him quit. Like he was in the Army he was a Marine to begin with, and then he got out and decided that, regular life wasn't for him, whatever. Goes back in, served so long they ran him out. One of those guys.
Oh, wow.
And then he's got to point to a spot on the wall to talk about his benefits. Like, yeah, I served.
To
and
some
here's
guy that probably never served.
That never served.
Just,
right. So, we got to do better for those guys.
Yeah, like I said, my campaign, veteran advocacy is top priority for my campaign. I'll talk about education. Education specifically in the state of Georgia could be a lot better.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing we have Georgia's starting to grow. I mean, nationwide, the homeschool community is really growing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm one of them. We homeschool our son.
We homeschool ours.
And
yeah.
it's, you pay your property tax, but you don't get any benefit of the educational piece of the property tax.
Yeah.
And so I think I will fight for the money. I think in Georgia specifically, we spend about $9,000 per student in public education. And so I think that money should follow the student. And so if you do homeschool, that $9,000 should follow the student.
Let's go. Are you listening to my guy right now?
Whether they're homeschooled, whether they go to private school, charter school, or public school, that money should be allotted for those families. And forget about trying to do it through a tax break or anything. I think the money that we have funded at the state budget and for federal budgets, that money should follow the student wherever they go. And so that would be a huge relief to homeschool parents.
Yeah.
And so if you're a homeschool parent, I am a homeschool parent. That's another reason why you should vote for Beau Brown.
Absolutely. I've got a homeschool contingency in my audience. So you're barking up the right tree right now. Man, that would be, I did an episode about that not long ago. We had dispelled a bunch of myths about homeschooling, and we talked about that. Like it would be fantastic if I got 2 kids right now that were homeschooling.
Right.
It's $18,000 that we would have to spend on their education.
Yeah.
Right now I'm paying for all the stuff that we do and that money that goes to, kids down the street, and God bless them. I want everybody to have good education, but it would be nice to be able to keep my money.
Yeah, I mean, especially even people that don't own, that are not paying property tax, that don't own homes. That's a benefit as well. So they, they're gonna have money coming in,
right,
to use on their kids' benefits. Buying the school supplies, buying that stuff's not cheap. Buying the stuff, the educational resources. Laptops, this and that.
Yeah, I mean, field trips and all the stuff we do, the socialization that gets done.
Yeah, the socialization, the field trips. Yeah, we actually went to Birmingham to see the Space Museum.
Oh, yeah.
In Birmingham for one of our sons' field trips. So
Birmingham,
Huntsville.
Okay. No, I was thinking I didn't know about one in Birmingham. I thought I'd been to all of them.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I mixed the two.
No, you're
one's
good.
In
You're
north,
good.
One's in south.
Yeah.
Birmingham's south, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huntsville's north.
Yeah, northern. Yeah.
So Huntsville.
Different state. We're in Georgia, and we love it here.
Huntsville, Alabama. So
yeah.
Education is another thing. It's like I want to fight for teachers. I think teachers right now, the turnaround. Basically, if you get hired, you're only going to be a teacher for about 3 or 4 years. They're leaving the profession.
It's so different now than it was 5 years ago. Pre-COVID.
Obviously, there's people running right now for state superintendent. There's some good candidates out there.
Yeah.
Do your research. But we need the leadership focused on the teachers to make that job a great job. I mean, that's a huge employer in the nation. And we got to retain these teachers. I think a big thing is having paid mentors, not paid mentors, there's paid help. I don't know what they call it. It's not a mentor. It's like someone that helps the teacher inside the classroom. But they're
like a teacher's aide, a parapro.
They're unpaid right now. Because I think in the state of Georgia, these teachers are supposed to have like an hour for pre-planning or an hour for planning?
Just planning time,
And they typically don't ever get that,
Right.
Their contract, it says, hey, you get an hour for this, and throughout the day, what goes on, they don't even get to do that. They have to do it after hours. I mean, my wife was a teacher for almost 10 years, and a lot of the time was like I mean, you're talking about 14-hour days, going in early, staying the whole time, staying after to do stuff, and all that extra time is not paid. So,
Right.
Teachers are really, I mean, they're out there, they're really hardworking people.
Yeah.
And we got to.
I know a lot of great teachers. Yeah.
We got to find a way to make that still an attractive job, an attractive career.
Right.
For the future of people that are in early childhood education and education in general.
Yeah. No, that's a big deal because it is, I don't know, county the size of Floyd, there are probably, we got some industry around here that may employ more people than our local school system, but like in a lot of these counties, the school system is probably going to be the biggest employer.
Yeah, the biggest employer. And really, where does it go back to? It goes back to children's education. We want our children to be educated. We gotta compete, on the world stage, and we need our children to be the sharpest and the brightest. And that investment into those teachers is an investment into the kids.
Yeah.
And so that's another proponent of my campaign. If you vote for Beau Brown,
there you go. Yeah. That's a big deal, man, because it's not. I homeschool my kids because I think it's the better way. I probably would if our public schools in Georgia were number one in the country. They're not.
Yeah.
But if they were, we would probably still homeschool just because we think it's better. But for all the people who can't homeschool for whatever reason or just choose not to, I would like for their kids to be able to read well too. Because I'm going to be in a nursing home sooner than later, and I want somebody that is on top of things to take care of me while I'm in there, and right now we're failing kids in so many ways because we're not doing what we should to educate them. And a lot of that's got to go back on the parents, but at the same time, the school's got to be able to do what they need to do, on their end. And it sounds like you're on board with that even as a homeschool dad.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was a public school kid, so
I remember I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, very acquainted with that. I want to fight for them. So, other issues, man. Like I said, obviously the immigration issue is still at hand. People are very up on, the deportation. But here's the thing: we can't deportate 20 million people. It's going to be such an expense. I mean, we've seen some bad things happen. People have lost their lives. I think we got to come up with a better way and innovative way of doing it. I mean, these people are already here. I'm not talking about amnesty, but I did think like, hey, what if we, kind of a proponent of what I'm campaigning on for illegals is that, these people are already here. We've already seen what deportation looks like at the scale that Trump tried to do it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the prettiest sight for many Americans. And so I think I may be way off here. I'm just saying with 15 plus million illegals in this country, I think we give a 6 month or a year opportunity for these individuals to sign up for a work visa. It would be a 3 or 5 year work visa. They would get the visa. They'd have that time to sign up. Okay. If they don't sign up within that time and they get caught, driving on a flat tire or whatever,
right,
they're deported. Like you had 6 months to a year to get out of here. Obviously, we still work on getting the criminal illegal aliens out of here that we know of.
Right.
But this gives basically an opportunity for people that are already living here a chance to sign up for a pathway to citizenship. Yeah. So they're not immediately citizens. They're on a work visa. At the end of that 3 or 5 year program, they have the opportunity to apply for permanent residency. And that's a pathway into this country, but it also gives them buy-in on America. Yeah. I mean, instead of just being here, taking whatever, sending it back to wherever they're from, they have a work visa. It gives them buy-in to the system, buy-in to the American way. And for the people that don't sign up, those are the people that are automatically deported when we find them, whether through, a wreck, a car. I mean, this happened to me. I was in a car wreck. The guy barely spoke English. He totaled my car. He didn't have insurance. And that's the thing that pisses Americans off.
Yeah.
It's like, I pay insurance. I pay for all these things. And this guy totaled my vehicle, almost killed, he could have killed me. He didn't, thank God. But he had no insurance. And so That's the frustrations Americans have, is that these people are here. They're using our benefit. They're using our roadways. They're buying up housing. They're not paying tax dollars. So that's another thing. These people will immediately become a part of the tax basis as well.
Right.
I don't know how feasible that is. And I am not for amnesty in any stretch of the imagination, but we have to come up with more innovative ways to attack this illegal problem. Otherwise, it's just going to exacerbate into, never being answered.
Right.
Because we can't deport 20 million people. We've only deported 400,000 since Trump has been in office. So that's a little less than 2 years.
Right.
So 400,000, do the math. You're talking about 40 or 50 years of deportation. So
and they're still coming.
And they're still coming.
Yeah.
I think if we can shore up the border, have the access, still allow for the proper channels, and remove all the illegals that are criminal illegal aliens and the gangs.
Yeah.
But the people that are here, working, doing roofing, give them an opportunity to get a work visa with an opportunity to become a permanent resident eventually.
Yeah.
That gives them buy-in to the American dream. That gives them buy-in with the community. It adds them to the tax basis, solves this inhumane problem of forced removal that is not very popular. I mean, It's popular with very extreme ends, but not very popular overall.
Yeah.
And I think that would be an opportunity, something that would be a good thing to work towards. That would be a bipartisan thing in Congress as well.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're talking about there is some accountability for business owners, whether it's the guy that owns the roofing company or the guy that owns the factory that's hiring these people illegally. Now you go to this guy and you say, hey, here's your documentation, whatever it is. You got to get your people signed up.
That's the big thing. It gives them, there's a time frame to sign up. Then they're we know who they are. Yeah. We have a record of them, a record of where they're from. They have to pay taxes. Yeah. And it alleviates all this. I mean, they're already here abusing the system.
Right.
It's basically, it's not a free pass, but it gives them an opportunity to be a part of it. And within that time frame, after they sign up, for any reason, just like it is now, if you do get a work visa, you can still be deported. Yeah. So there's still things within, there's measures in place if they get a DUI or if they do something, that's illegal, they'll be deported within that time frame before the opportunity. So I don't know. That's my take on it, because I know there's families here that are illegal. They're families, it's a very touchy subject when it comes to that whole thing. Yeah, and so I want to protect Americans, number one. Like I said, I was recently involved in a situation, but I want to protect Americans. But with this whole, like I said, I don't think it's feasible that we're going to be able to deport 20 million people. Yeah. We got to figure out a way to give them buy-in, to make them a part of, and that's the main thing also that pisses people off. We want them to buy into the American dream. We want them to be a part of the American the American experiment, the American project.
There's a reason they came here, right?
Right. They know it's great to be here.
Yeah.
But I've seen this on social media. I hate the ones that are here. They're like, we're here to abuse the system.
Yeah. Those can go.
Yeah. We'll have somebody on social media. If we catch one of those videos, you're gone. You got to be waving the American flag and, cooking hot dogs and whatever on July 4th. So that's just something I've come up with that I think may be a viable thing that would alleviate a lot of issues, but also be a bipartisan project.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate that idea. I was of the mind that we should deport illegals because they're illegal. They broke the law.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that would, and I don't want to sound like one of these people that is like, what am I going to do for a gardener if my guy? But it would absolutely leave a vacuum if we could deport 20 million people tomorrow.
There'd be a vacuum, but also I'm not against deporting. We're still going to be still going to be deporting the criminals, and those type of illegals, but they would still be deported if they screw up. If they have a criminal record, if they have things come up.
Well, they don't qualify for the visa program, right? I mean,
exactly.
Or they get kicked out of it.
Yeah, they don't qualify. Yeah, so I mean, the deportations won't stop. It'll just, like I said, clean up who's here, and make it more of a viable thing instead of just saying, hey, there's illegals here and we got to deport them all.
Yeah. Well, I was encouraged. Was it yesterday, day before? Maybe I was reading that Mexico's president is offering universal health care down there.
Oh yeah, that did just happen.
So maybe they'll
yeah
stick around. I don't know.
they'll go back. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pay for it over here still.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe we moved to Mexico.
Hey man, I was in Thailand. I was in Thailand for like 8 days. And I was
Was
like,
Thailand cool?
Dude, it was amazing. It was a great experience. I was very happy I got to go. Actually, I went during the campaign for the special election, so that was kind of tough. I was trying to do a video from Thailand that was 12 hours ahead.
Right, yeah.
Timing it to be sent to Georgia 14 constituents. But
oh man,
yeah, it was a work trip. I was able to do what I needed to do over there. But first time out of the country, first time I had to go get a passport.
Yeah.
And so first time out of the country, and it was really
Where
really
did you
awesome.
Go over there?
Bangkok.
I
flew to Seoul, Korea. That was cool. I was
Yeah.
in Seoul, Korea's airport for a minute, and then flew to Bangkok, and Bangkok was really a cool experience.
My buddy Larry up in Dalton, he runs a martial arts gym up there. They teach Muay Thai, and I used to train Muay Thai way back.
Oh yeah.
So Bangkok has always been like a bucket list destination. So maybe I'll make it out there.
The
one
Muay
day.
Thai fighters.
Yeah.
It was very cheap to stay in the hotel.
Well, that was what I looked. I'm
nice.
pricing a trip a few years back, and it was like dinner will cost you like 10,000 baht, and I was like, holy smoke, 10,000! It's like $1.50. I was like, okay, all right.
The exchange rate when I was there was like 33 baht for $1 US.
Yeah. So I forget exactly what the numbers were, but it was 1,000 for this and 5,000 for that. And I was like, there's no way, but it's just not the same. But it looks really cool. And I was like, man, Beau's got to go to Thailand in the middle of his campaign. Not doing you any favors.
Listen, man, I'm just a country boy that finally, made it in my career field. And
well, you were at work.
Yeah. I was at work.
That was your job, And it was cool that they sent you over there, but that's just everyday American stuff. My job.
Everyday American.
Mine sends me to South Carolina sometimes. It's not Thailand, but like I get it.
Yeah.
You
got drive through Alabama.
Tango, they sent Tango to Mexico not long ago. His gig.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But that happens. That all of us in this room have been sent to a different place for our job, and so many of your voters will have, oh yeah, I get that. That happened to me. You weren't over there doing diplomatic stuff. You were over there working.
Yeah. So it was a good time, but
but it's you're back. Is it really? Holy smokes!
Oh,
how long have we been at this? Just over an hour.
Yeah, it's fine. We can talk about some other major things. I mean, obviously, I think we elected Trump to be the no war president,
to not fight wars. I was hoping that's where you were going with that, and I was going to bring that up. We've talked about a lot of domestic stuff, but foreign policy, man, where those of us in this room agree that we should not be fighting. I don't know. Iran is not the good guys. Like they just aren't. They've been over there yelling death to America for 50 years or whatever. But the timing was really it was weird for me, especially after Trump runs on no wars.
Trump,
where are you at on that?
Trump runs on no wars. Right now, I mean, there's a lot. Let's see, what Sunday right now. I don't know when this will air, but it should probably be over $100 a barrel tomorrow on the market when it opens. From what I've heard, today we sent a blockade in. We're blocking the Strait of Hormuz now. So Iran stops the strait, and then they start taking fees. Now we're blocking it, so nobody. And I think strategically, Trump is doing that to bring in, these world powers that are kind of stand by, but they're also benefiting from us being there.
Right.
So he's trying to get more buy-in from that. But no, I'm with you, man. Like, we voted for Trump because we wanted America first. We wanted to make America great again. And right now, people don't feel that in their pocketbooks.
Well, you just said two terms that seem to be opposed at this point. You said make America great again, and you said America first.
Yeah, I think, I'm a proponent of this. I think we need to go straight to America first. Make America great again is kind of flailing right now with Trump, flailing on the national stage. I mean, America first means America first. There's no if buts or whatnot. It's America first. And that's what we need in Washington. We need people focused on American citizens, American issues, and American problems that need to be answered. We don't need to be focused on foreign issues, funding foreign wars, standing up for proxy wars in the Middle East. We just got out of the Middle East and Afghanistan, and we voted for Trump. And who thought we'd be literally, what was back November? So November we bomb Iran and say there's no, we decimated their nuclear program.
Right.
And then here we are in Iran saying we have to go after all the enriched uranium. We just didn't vote for this. We voted for no new wars. We voted for prioritizing American citizens, prioritizing the middle class, because the middle class is being crushed. The middle class is being basically, the middle class is being abused, point blank. You can blame it on the influx of immigrants, blame it on the inflation that's just not subsiding, I think. And obviously now gas prices, grocery prices, and wage growth is stagnant. So the middle class is not thriving right now, and they haven't been thriving for probably the last 5 or 6 years, really since Biden was in there. So really after since 2020, since COVID, this has really affected the middle class. So America First is where it's at. MAGA's kind of really flailing, and really Trump was walking at the UFC last night. He didn't get a lot of hurrahs.
No, not like it has been.
So yeah, I think Trump obviously he can salvage this, but he's got to act fast. I don't know what's going on. He's being influenced by, when we're attacking people who put Trump there, who really went out of their way to put Trump into office. When those people are getting attacked, something's going wrong.
Well, that's what I saw a tweet today that was like, so you're telling me that Thomas Massey and Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and all these people just went crazy right all of a sudden now they're crazy lunatics after they got him essentially got him elected.
They were huge proponents of his election and reasons why. I followed him because those are the people I kind of followed.
I voted for the guy 3 times.
And so
I'm not happy with him now.
No, there's a big proponent of Republicans that are not happy with him.
Yeah.
They're not happy with what's going on with this war specifically. And truthfully, in my opinion, it's probably destroyed his presidency so far.
It's hurt it. Yeah.
If you really want to be real about it, you're in Iran. I get that they potentially have WMDs, but we've all heard with the WMD talk. So
I was gonna say Bush gave us that talk back in 01.
They do.
They got weapons. We're gonna go get Osama.
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch back on 2 things you just said.
Tango knows we're about to wrap up.
No, you said make America great again. I don't think I'm kind of with Rogan on this. America is still great. Let's make it better.
We just talked about 20 million people coming here.
Make America better.
Yeah.
We can take those 20 million people, turn them into Americans.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing. The whole make America great again gives you the idea that we're sucking.
Yeah.
And it feels that way as a middle class person.
Yeah.
Right.
But
well, that's what I'm getting at. 20 million people wouldn't have shown up. Yeah. If it wasn't great, but we can make it better.
And then,
plenty of room for improvement.
Yeah. I don't know. Trump's got a rough go at it right now. And
but he's done it to himself.
He's not winning any favors. But as far as Republicans are concerned, the MAGA movement's fractured. Mm-hmm. And then nobody wants a neocon.
Yeah.
These
or
neocons.
Or a rhino. That's the thing. He literally just endorsed Lindsey Graham again.
Yeah. So he hates these guys.
We all hate Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
He hates them, but he'll support them. He'll support the guys who are 100% going to stab him in the back like Caesar.
Yeah. And already have. They've already been opposed.
He loves the ego boost. Love him for that.
We talked about this in the last episode. Yeah.
For it. But he's on his Caesar's path right now, and he knows he's setting himself up to get stabbed.
Yeah.
But you are
not literally.
Not literally.
We didn't mean that.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Tango. No. As a candidate, Beau, you kind of speak to a lot of this where you're not that neocon, you're not that rhino. You are that everyday American who kind of goes through these struggles. So it's kind of nice to hear you say, hey, prices are way too high.
Yeah.
Georgia Power, we need to do something about this.
Holy smokes.
Holy smokes. Georgia Power is the doom.
They are, right, man.
But like you're willing to take on insurance right now. I mean, you were talking about the car accident. Car insurance is through the roof right now. That's a big thing with Georgians right now. But I'll let you guys get back.
No, you're good. I talked to a young man not long ago, a guy I trained jiu-jitsu with. He's, what is he, 20? And young guys' insurance is always higher or whatever. He's paying $800 a month for car insurance. I was like, bro, you got to find a better plan.
Yeah, I would buy a 40-year-old vehicle and
his
that costs like $2,000 and only have liability.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is crazy. And he had a wreck, and I forget whether or not it was his fault. But I mean, like, if I had to pay $800 a month for.
Dude, that's like, that's
well, no, who can, and I know like everybody's power bills in that ballpark or more anyway.
Yeah, utility, like I said, the power bill things, that's a big hit for people. Like people can, I did say this about the pump, but, gas prices are probably going to go higher. I mean, we're probably going to see north of $4 here in the next month. If this, it's already, I saw it 380 last week. It was 356 on the right end today. Mm-hmm. And so with oil shooting through the roof tomorrow in the market, it's going to be a rough couple weeks. And especially, you talk about, everything runs off oil. Everything, you talk about transportation, these owner operators who are having to pay $5+ a gallon for diesel.
Yeah.
This is going to hurt. It's going to hurt people, the middle class. It's going to hurt us that don't have an extra dollar for the extra. We're going to be going to the gas station, putting in $15 to get us down the road, instead of, that's when I thought I made it, when I could fill my tank up. I was like,
you feel good.
I feel like I've made it financially. I can fill my tank up at one stop instead of throwing in $15 here and there. So I know that life, and I'm going to fight for Americans. I'm fighting for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'm going to fight for you to have more money in your pocket. I'm just going to do it. So like I said, I'm here.
Yeah.
Here I am, send me to Washington to do what's right, but not just send me to Washington because I'm going to be in this community. I'm going to be in this community firsthand, boots on the ground, meeting with the people, meeting with the business owners, meeting with the VA clinics, meeting with the penitentiary system, I'm going to be the advocate that you guys deserve and that this district needs. There was one other thing I wanted to touch on. I'm trying to remember.
Well, let me ask you then. I had one last question for you, and if you remember that, that's great. And if not, we'll add it in the comments later. So you have not necessarily spoken favorably of Trump tonight in this episode, and I haven't either for that matter, but I'm not going to Washington. Should you win May 19th and then you win again in November and it's your seat, what does your relationship with Donald Trump look like?
Look, man, I'm a registered Republican. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
Yeah.
I was on the MAGA train. Yeah. I was at Russell Airport when he came to town in 2020, 2016 at this point. And I've been a part of MAGA. I've been very vocal in defending Trump, and I think obviously we're getting a little weary of everyone being wrong and Trump always being right.
Yeah.
You can be the guy that we want. You can be the president and be the guy that we put there. Mm. But everybody can't be wrong. And you can't, it's always, the supporter, you're an idiot or this and that. So there can be disagreement on policy. There can be disagreement on things, especially when Americans are struggling, when everything's good. It's like the king has no clothes or whatever.
Yeah.
But right now things aren't good. And,
the emperor's not wearing any clothes.
Yeah. The things aren't good. And we need, look, I'm going to be a part of the Republican Party. I'm a conservative. I'm a Christian. My relationship with God is first and foremost. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And that's my stance. And that's what leads me. But when it comes to Trump, if we have policy differences, we have policy differences, but you can't just. I think people are getting wary of him calling out people that are having policy differences with him.
Yeah.
And so he's got to become aware of that and to salvage the next 2 years of his presidency. And we got to listen. We as a country, we got to realize, like, as a party, Trump's going away in 2028. You know, do you want to send someone that's going to go there if we lose the midterms? Basically, just play defense for Trump and the White House for the next 2 years, which is what the guy says he's going to do. Or do you want to elect somebody that's going to go there and use this seat to prioritize issues in Georgia 14, come back, do the boots on the ground work, be a uniter, be a person that's going to give it their all each and every day, and at the end of the day, do what's right for Americans above whatever Trump thinks. You know, I heard Trump say, literally quoted, that he really doesn't care if gas prices go higher. Well, I care because I care.
Yeah, he doesn't pay for gas.
Yeah, who cares about Donald Trump? He's a billionaire. He's lived a life that literally less than a tenth of a percent of the people in the world population that's ever existed has lived. He has a lavish life. He's not one of us in that sense, but he was the tool that we use to break up the rhinos, to break up the same old, same old. Now we have to do that at the congressional level, and I'm that tool that you should use.
There we go. Tango, you got anything else?
I think that's it.
1 second. Hold on. We might have one more.
Bo's got one more thing. Maybe. I had some notes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is light. Volunteers, please, if you guys are interested in working or helping my campaign, please, it's go to beaubrownforcongress.com/volunteer, sign up. I'll put you to work. It'll be unpaid because
is what it is,
we
man.
are grassroots.
Yeah.
But if you're in any way excited about politics or influenced by this upcoming election and you want to get involved and I'm the candidate that you align most with, please go to beaubrownforcongress.com/volunteer. We'd love to have you. We just had some shirts made, so we're going to be handing those out to volunteers that get involved. And man, we're pushing forward to May 19th. That's the day. I think our early voting actually starts April 27th. So there's going to be a clear choice, guys. I think kind of the people that spent a lot of money in this campaign aren't too enthused about running because they lost, because they spent a lot of money and the results weren't there. But me, I'm different than all those candidates because I didn't spend hardly anything, and I showed that I could stand on the same stage. I showed that I could. I mean, we got almost 1% of the vote, and that was without spending any money and without being known. So when the field kind of flattens out and it's just me and Clay standing there, there's going to be a really good choice that you have that's going to be the other pick, and I think the other pick is going to be the better choice. So.
I like it.
We'll see. And like I say this all the time, when someone gives you a job,
I was waiting on that.
You work hard, you figure it out, and good things happen.
There you go.
And that's what I want for Georgia 14. I want good things to happen. So beaubrownforcongress.com and follow me on Facebook at Beau Brown for U.S. Congress.
There you go. Beau, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, Danny.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching, for listening. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't know anything about Beau, now you do. He was on a few episodes back as well, so go check out. You can see the difference, the progression that he's made. Tango, thanks for pushing the buttons tonight.
America first.
America first. God bless you guys. We love you. See you next time.